is taking a basic exercise but getting the most out of it, and maybe more importantly, making sure that you don't get injured as a result of how you're doing an exercise, which is often a big concern amongst the training world. So for lunges, just to review the basic pattern. So when I go and I step back, I'm going to drop my back knee and come back up. So in this position, my torso should stay the same here as when I go down. Typically, I like people to keep their shoulders stacked over their heel. This is kind of a good cue that way. A lot of times when people do a lunge, what they'll do is they'll shoot their body back that way because they're trying to stay a little bit too upright. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make the exercise very quad dominant. You're probably going to load a little bit more into your knee than you might be needing to. The other thing that will happen, typically seen with people with a weaker core, is they'll really collapse into it. So that you don't want to do either, as that can also create a little bit of extra pressure in your knee. When we do a lunge, ideally, we're going to have adequate load sharing of our quadricep muscles and our glutes and hamstrings. So most people have no problem recruiting their quads in a lunge. It's getting their glutes and hamstrings to fire that sometimes becomes a problem. So the easiest cue is just keep your weight in your front heel. And sometimes where the confusion comes with this is when you do a lunge, there's two different ways to do it. You can either load your front leg or you can load your back leg to push yourself back up. So the first thing is always important to identify which of those two variations you're doing and be consistent with them, so you're not doing one on one side and the other side and really only ever working one leg. So a really good thing to do if you might have that problem is to use a glider, or this is actually just like a carpet mover that are super cheap and work really well. What you're going to do is you're going to step on this. So this one is going to be sliding, so it doesn't really enable you to load it that much, or else your foot's going to go flying back. So it keeps you pretty honest with it. So you're going to sit into your front heel, and then you're going to make sure that you press into the heel and consciously be aware of squeezing your butt and your hamstring all the way to the top. Sometimes even just by thinking about the muscles that you want working will increase the amount of muscle activity that will be working there. So that's one tool that you can utilize if you find that you have that problem. Other than that, just making sure that where your weight distribution is in your foot, and then keeping your shoulders stacked over your torso, and you should be able to set yourself up to do a lunge with perfect technique every time.